I lost a brother. I lost a great guy today.
To the Fairmount community, this park will never quite look or feel the same. It's where you could find Jared Irvin, known by loved ones as Sticky, coaching youth sports, mentoring children, hanging out with friends, or simply lending a helping hand.
Man, Sticky. Coaching kids, mentoring. I do tons of stories. I talk a lot about how, I cover a lot of the activists, violence interrupters who get killed in this country. And even barbers. You'd be surprised how many stories I do on barbers. Like so many barbers, son barbers, get murdered in this country every year. But youth football coaches, that's another group that I could do 10, 15 stories in a year. And it's like, I'm not even trying. It's not like I'm going out looking for stories about youth football coaches. This is just stuff that I come across my desk or stuff that I get to. Because a lot of these stories I don't even get to because there's so many. So that tells you that just my small sample size, maybe 10 or 15 stories every year I do on youth football coaches or youth basketball, youth coaches getting killed, murdered in the streets. It shows you how many there are total. And the reason so many Sunman youth coaches, Sunman activists, Sunman barbers get killed every year, it's not a conspiracy. There's not no deep theory about it. It's because they're Sunmen. And a lot of Sunmen get killed every year. And those Sunmen have professions, and they have occupations, and they have, purposes in life, or, fields of, things that they do. So this is a guy who got killed, another brother that got killed, and he happened to be a youth football coach. Well, it's really that simple, man.
I lost a brother. I lost a great guy today.
To the Fairmount community, this park will never quite look or feel the same. It's where you could find Jared Irvin, known by loved ones as Sticky, coaching youth sports, mentoring children, hanging out with friends, or simply lending a helping hand.
Sticky was a community guy. He would do anything for the kids.
This afternoon, Cincinnati police say the 48-year-old was shot on Colerain Avenue near this Shell gas station in Camp Washington. He died upon arriving at UC Medical Center. Officers believe this man, 31-year-old Peter Gamble, is the person responsible. He was taken into custody.
And listen, whatever happened at that gas station between this guy and Sticky, it could have been a feud, ongoing feud. Could have been, something from the street or something, some kind of, retribution or something for some prior offense. Or they could have not even known each other and something happened at the gas station. That's the stand, man. These guys could have never met until they crossed paths at that gas station.
Never in a million years would I think this would happen. He's such a loved man.
Friends say Irvin spent his time coaching AAU teams, basketball, football, and boxing, the sports he focused on most. He was also a father, and a father figure to many kids who lacked someone in that role.
A father figure to many kids who lacked someone in that role. Now, I just want you to think about this. And this is where I get frustrated with blaming the women on everything. And trust me, I get that it's tough dealing with some of these sisters when children of all. I get that. But you always gotta, you know. But look at these men. Look at all these men in this picture. Look at all these men in this picture. It's plenty of men in the communities. But there's so many kids, all these kids that need a father figure, someone in that role. And yes, there's a lot of brothers incarcerated. I get that. But even with that, there are a lot of brothers like Sticky that are now no longer with us. But even with that, it's just crazy that in these communities where you got all these men, when you go around, when you drive through these communities, on the corners there's a bunch of men. The basketball court is a bunch of men. You go to the club, it ain't a bunch of men. Go to the pool hall, there's a bunch of men. You go to a cookout or not a function, nothing, a bunch of men. And yet you need men like Sticky to be father figures to all these kids. That can't be all the women. Some of that got to be some of that got to be these guys' faults. Just a little bit of it.
He was also a father and a father figure to many kids who lacked someone in that role.
Seeing everybody here, some of his grandkids being here, family, cousins, everybody being here, it kind of like makes me glad to know he had a community standing behind him.
There's still shock, disbelief, and confusion.
He hated guns. He hated guns. Sticky never wanted these guys come around with guns, not in his heart. He did not want nobody carrying guns.
I believe this guy. I believe him when he says that about Sticky, man. Man, Sticky, man. I believe that. Man.
He hated guns. He hated guns. Sticky never wanted these guys come around with guns, not in his heart. He did not want nobody carrying guns.
Definitely wrong place at the wrong time.
Police still figuring out what led up to the incident. Now, police say they were in the area at the time that this incident took place, which made that arrest happen so quickly. We're also told the altercation may have started at a bank across the street, but police are still looking into that information. Reporting.
So the altercation may have started at a bank across the street. Maybe this Sticky went to make a withdrawal from ATM machine. The brother may have been trying to take what was Sticky's, and Sticky may have fled, and the brother may have caught him at the gas station, finished him off. I don't know. Just terribly, terribly sad situation. You think any of the Cincinnati Bengals, since this happened in Cincinnati, think anybody from the Cincinnati Bengals wear a little, with the little black patch, the uniform for Sticky? Nah, man, Sticky wasn't killed by no cop or no glacier glider vigilante, man. So we won't see Cincinnati Bengals as they continue their playoff run, their historic playoff run, doing anything for Sticky, man. You football coaching the city of Cincinnati. Oh, yeah. a youth football coach, and beloved youth football coach, upstanding man, in the city of Cincinnati, was killed in cold blood at a gas station, broad daylight, by what will probably be revealed it was a career criminal out on bond or someone on parole or probation for violent crimes. And the city's football team was having a historic playoff run. First time in 30-something years they won a playoff game, then they won 2. One more game, they go to the Super Bowl. Cinderella. This would be a great story. Man, we doing it for Sticky, man. Nah, man, Sticky ain't get killed by no cop, man. Nobody care about no Sticky. We don't get nothing out of that. Which lets you know that all that stuff they do, that these athletes do, is for them. It's for their social media profile. They not going to get nothing for Sticky. If Sticky was killed by a cop, they would get something for that. They would get people, look at the Bengals, they're brave. Look how brave the Bengals are. The Cincinnati Bengals are brave, man. They're dedicating their season to Sticky. He was killed by a cop, man. And then, the Glacier Glider players on the Cincinnati Bengals could be like, I don't fully understand this because, I don't have to deal with this, but I'm just standing behind my son brothers. And the son man players could be like, crying and kneeling on the field, and look at me, I'm kneeling for Sticky. He got killed by a cop. He was a youth football coach. We can't even coach football without getting killed. It's dangerous for us to coach. Nah, man, none of that gonna happen, man. Sticky was killed by son man. An altercation that started at a bank and ended at a gas station across the street, man. They don't even know who Sticky is, man. They don't even know who Sticky is, man. They ain't even heard about this, man. Stand, boy. Police tell Fox 19 that officers saw the 2 men arguing near an intersection. The argument carried over to the Shell station, where the suspect reportedly pulled out a handgun and shot Sticky. The suspect was quickly arrested, police say. Police have not said what caused the argument between Irvin and the suspect.
The victim of a deadly shooting tonight is being remembered as a friend, as a coach, and a mentor. Good evening to all of you. I'm Tanya O'Rourke.
And I'm Craig McKee. Jared Irvin, known as Coach Sticky to so many people, died just a few hours before we were told that he was going to go coach a team of 5-year-olds learning to love the game of basketball.
Sticky is like a little brother to me. He's family to all of us. Oh, man.
Dozens of people, as you can see here, came together tonight in North Fairmount to remember Irvin. Among them, people who played on his teams over the years. Trinell Armstrong, for instance, says he first played for Coach Sticky when he was in kindergarten.
He was my first coach. I wouldn't be helping out trying to coach now if it wasn't for him. If anybody knows Sticky, like I said, he's for the kids.
Irvin also coached youth football, and friends say he spent a lot of time working to get the kids on his teams the things they needed, from shoes to uniforms to food.
However you want to call it, Coach Sticky was loved by the community in Cincinnati, and we just lost a good one today.
Police say Jared Irvin was shot by Peter Campbell at the Shell station on Coleraine Avenue in Camp Washington. The 2 men had been arguing. 2 police officers happened to be close by and saw the argument take place. Authorities haven't said if Irvin and Campbell knew police could see them or not. Investigators also...
It wouldn't really have mattered, man. I want you guys to start paying attention to how many of these stories where where you hear them say, police were on the scene or police were nearby. Like, these communities are very violent. As we've learned, there's no fathers in the home. Sticky was a father figure to a bunch of kids. Kids grow up. Moms do the best they can, but the kids grow up. And they come out of the homes very violent. And the men who aren't in the home are very violent. And this is all because of the supremacy and the legacy of supremacy and the man holding them down. But it's all Glacier Glider's fault. It's all your fault, Glacier Glider. But these communities have police a lot. You know, you're going to see police a lot in these communities. Wherever you have a lot of Sun people, you're going to see a lot of police. But it doesn't affect the crime rate. All it can do is help them apprehend the criminal, which is a good thing. But to stop the crime, it really can't stop the crime. All they can do is apprehend the criminal, because these people, they don't care. For say there's no police around, you're just going to shoot a man dead in broad daylight at in a gas station. Think about how many times this happens. And think about whenever it happens, who it is. Who's doing it. So forget whether the police were around or not. His brother shot another man in broad 1 p.m. at a gas station. And now this community is far worse without a man like Sticky. A community like this, devastating loss to lose a guy like that. Like, it's already teetering and it's already, you know, on thin ice. Then you lose a guy like that. Devastating loss for the community.